What is up, guys? Zack Scott here, playing Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, and today I have a very special episode for you guys. But first, we're going to check out what Rux, the Deal Breaker, has in store for us. Ooh, the beach border. That's a cool costume for the hover goat. I'm going to grab that. I'm also going to grab the rest of these things, the gem stop sign mask, the gem Viking, and looks like the diamond blinker goggles. This is post commentary that I'm doing right now because like I said, this is a very special episode. Oh, if I check the store here, let's look at the gifts because we have a special gift, the Pack of Luck, which for me at least is going to be 100,000 coins. Very, very cool. So like I was talking about, a very special episode. I got to submit some questions that were to be answered by Justin Weeb, the creative director of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 1 and 2, and then also to Sean Laker, the live producer on Garden Warfare. And so I'm so thankful, I'm so fortunate that they answered the questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of Turf Takeover. Right now we have a community challenge to get 15 revives, so I'm going to be focused on revives. I'm going to be playing some Turf Takeover and doing post-commentary where I read my questions and their answers. I'll probably try to put an image in the corner to let you know who's who. Here we go. Alright, so I have chosen just the regular scientist here. We are playing Turf Takeover and we are on defense. So let's see if we can win here, and I may not comment, I thought that was, I don't know why I shot that. I may not comment too much on what's going on in the game, because I'm going to be trying to focus mostly on these questions that I submitted, this little Q&A, and this was all orchestrated through Jay Ingram at EA. So thank you guys for all participating. I really do appreciate getting able to ask some of these questions that I had on my mind, and also getting answers. I submitted about a dozen questions, so let's just go through them. I ordered them in a way that I thought would kind of flow and tell a decent story of the game. We're focused a lot on the new updates that have come out lately, including the new character Twilight Chomper, the new modes, the new modes like Soil Survivor and Capture the Taco, and of course the new stage being brought in, Walnut Hills. So let's just get right into it. You can watch me play. I'll try not to interrupt the screen too much, and we'll see how we do on this round. And if it comes down to it and I'm done with the questions, then I'll start commenting on the gameplay itself. And maybe, I'll try to just kind of butt in and leave some commentary anyway, because a lot of cool things happen. Right off the bat, though, I'm not doing so well. Our team's not doing so well. But you'll see that the plants are really steamrolling us. We try to contend with that. But anyway, you guys are here for the questions, so let's get on with the questions. You guys can watch. I'll read the questions. How about that? So starting off, you can tell this comes from the mind of a fan. These are questions I wrote myself, and so they might not be like have any sort of journalistic integrity or anything like that, but that's not what I'm going for. I'm just trying to connect with the developers as a true fan of the series, a longtime fan of the series. So let's start off. Congratulations on the tremendous success of the Garden Warfare franchise. How did the plan to bring substantial new content to Garden Warfare 2 3 years after its release come about? And now, Sean answered some of these, Justin answered some of these, this one's answered by Sean. Sean comes in here and says, the initial plan was to bring content through a finite period of Garden Warfare 2's launch. This period of time passed, and a smaller team continued to support the product via community portal events, hero showcases, rucks, etc. When I joined the team in August 2018, we rolled into the holiday season and saw a few records being broken for engagement and player retention. Garden Warfare is super sticky, meaning players like to come back to it time and time again. Now, just my personal comment, I can relate to that because I come back to this game time and time again. How many episodes do I have? This is episode 407. So of just the second game. I did like over 300 of the first game. Anyway, we took this opportunity to pitch additional and deliver content through 2018 and into 2019. While our team was relatively small compared to the team building the next game, we delivered on quality of life, Capture the Taco, Torch and Goat costumes, Soil Survivors, Walnut Hills, Twilight Chomper, etc. We're super proud of what we've accomplished thus far. And as a fan, I am really thrilled at the content that they've added to this game because I really thought there wasn't going to be any new major content. And so just, if you would have asked me a year ago in 2018, March 2018, you know, would we see any new characters? Would we see any new levels? Would we see any new modes? I would just say no. I would have just assumed no. They're going to push for the next game and not really focus much on this game. But thankfully, with guys like Sean and whoever else is on the dev team, with like the live content production, we have been graced with this awesome new content. And so anyway, what's going on in the game right now? Right now, I'm basically trying to focus on revives, kind of follow my team around, heal them. Also, I've been learning how to, not really learning per se, but I've been adapting to their play style. And I've been trying to be a little more aggressive with the scientist to kind of stop. See, I'm trying to get the revive here. Got it, but then I think I get owned. Yeah, I got totally owned right there. I've been trying to be a little more aggressive, but like I said, if you look at the scores against a lot of these plants, like, I haven't killed them. I mean, because they play, I mean, it makes sense when they're far off. You know, it's hard to get to the cactus and take them out, especially when I'm focused on peas and chompers coming in. But anyway, on to the next question. Thank you so much for answering that one, Sean. Second question, also answered by Sean. Here's my question. I love seeing Garden Warfare 1 content return in Garden Warfare 2, and it was really fun to return to Walnut Hills. Why was this particular map chosen, and can we expect any more Garden Warfare 1 maps to return in the future? So, you know, like I said before, when I talked and when they've talked on Twitter, especially Justin, you know, they talked about why some of the stages weren't brought in initially. And that was because some stages, you know, just weren't the right size for some of the new larger characters. And Walnut Hills is one of those stages. And so when they brought it over, they actually limited. They didn't allow you to bring in the new characters, only the classic characters and their new variants into Walnut Hills. So I'm glad that they brought it back, you know, but that was the reason why Walnut Hills wasn't initially brought in. But here's Sean's answer to my question is why that particular map was chosen and if we can expect any more maps to return. He says, we love playing Walnut Hills as well. The decision to bring this map to Garden Warfare 2 was heavily weighted by Justin Weeb's vote on Twitter back in February 2018. See, I didn't even remember this, and he brought it up, so I'm so glad I asked, and I'm so glad he answered, because check it out. I'm going to put this on the screen here. This is his tweet. We weren't able to start work on this map until late 2018 due to complexities with development planning. These things take time. One huge takeaway here was having the community vote on these types of decisions. I think there's opportunities for more community votes in PvZ's future. Now, does that mean Garden Warfare 2's future or just the PvZ franchise in general? And, you know, I notice a trend here. When they're talking about the next game coming out, they're not calling it Garden Warfare. We'll get to that with a future question, but he says PvZ's future, you know, he didn't say Garden Warfare's future, so that really intrigues me. There was no direct answer to if we can expect more Garden Warfare 1 maps in the future, but he did say we can expect more community votes in the future, or he didn't say that. He said there are more opportunities for community votes in the future. So we'll see how that pans out. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I'm just kind of giving my interpretation. But that's so cool because I totally forgot all about that poll that Justin had up. So it was, what was your favorite map from Garden Warfare 1 and Walnut Hills 1? And then a year later, it pans out that Walnut Hills gets brought in to Garden Warfare 2. Isn't that amazing? So that was like one of those things that just is out there and you don't really pay attention to it after the fact. A year passes and then boom, you see the impact of actually participating in that vote. And I actually voted for Walnut Hills, I believe. Did I? How can I tell? Maybe. I don't remember what I did. I assume that I did. I don't know. I don't know if I can tell. But anyway, that is my favorite map from Garden Warfare 1. Maybe. Unless I really like the end of it, of course. But I don't know. Maybe. I really don't know how I would have voted back then. Now, thinking back, I would have voted. Anyway, let's go. Let's continue with the questions. A little wordy here, that's okay. So, next question, again answered by Sean. I said, the Twilight Chomper was a pleasant surprise, especially to those who never owned the Unicorn Chomper. What were the challenges of implementing this new subclass at this stage of development? Sean says, there is a bunch of challenges with rolling out a new variant at this stage in the product. Many discussions were had regarding design and tech to figure out how to deliver Twilight. 1. First was the discussion regarding max rank and if this new variant should increase it. We liked that Twilight would have a leveling progression, but didn't like that a one-time grind would be required for a new max rank. We decided to soft cap max rank to prevent an unfairness about this character being required. This worked for Unicorn Chomper, but we didn't feel it was appropriate here. 2. We wanted to ensure Unicorn Chomper's owners didn't feel soured by this addition, so right from the get-go we wanted to do right by our players and agreed this character would be granted to all Unicorn Chomper owners right out of the gate. 3. We wanted this variant to be similar to Unicorn Chomper, but it had to land on reasonable tweaks to the variant to create variation on the traditional Unicorn Chomper gameplay. For example, the single but longer warp, and that is like the ability of the Twilight Chomper is that it has a single but longer warp, so it does differ from the Unicorn Chomper. There's even more stuff that has to be considered, but these were the major ones. So already 3 questions in, we are getting very, very thorough answers, and I hope you guys like the way that these questions go. Right now, as you can see in the game, I've kind of adapted and have been going after some of the individual plants as they come in and hopefully doing a good job. Not there, but just in general. Question number 4, the next question. I'm going to start losing the numbering here, but this is the next question. This is where Justin Weeb jumps in. I say, I've always thought of PvZ as a truly innovative and transformative franchise in the video game industry. What's the secret to draw inspiration from other sources while also pumping out truly original and exceptional gameplay experiences? And so that's how I've always felt about every single Plants vs. Zombies game that I play. I see that it completely innovates on the franchise, not the franchise, well, yes, on the franchise, but the genre. And I can see, if you read some of the Wikipedia articles about, even all the way back to George Fan's original design for Plants vs. Zombies, how all the inspirations he drew, I believe there was some Magic the Gathering influences. But all the way through every game that's come out, you can see that there are some inspirations, but then they bring just brand new original content that you've never seen before, gameplay that you've never seen before, and it draws, it just influences the whole industry. After we've seen a lot of asymmetrical, team-based gameplay type games come out after Garden Warfare 1. We have seen, even Rux, you can see that's a little bit of inspiration from Destiny because it's Zer backwards. But anyway, that's my reasoning behind that question. Here's Justin's answer. So this is really cool. I like this a lot. He says, while I can't comment on where everyone gets their inspiration, I can tell you from my own experiences that 75% of my inspiration comes from the grocery store. You wouldn't believe the looks I get from customers as I admire all the vegetables and set up little battle moments for them to get a feel for which veggies would make great characters to play. In fact, even the idea for the community thermometer we use for our community challenges in Garden Warfare 2 came from the local grocery store. So we're going to see that thermometer one more time at the end of this video because I'm going to complete this revive challenge. And that's kind of one reason why I chose this video to do the question and answers in, because of that specific answer right there. So, are we already to the finale here? Oh wow, we're already to the finale. We've got to do good. I got to get to these questions quicker. Anyway, also, he continues. I was paying for some new veggies when I noticed they had this massive thermometer on the wall as they tracked donations for a local charity, and I thought it was really great, making it look so grand and visual for everyone to see. That's when I realized how fun it would be if players could watch their collective progress towards goals we set in order to work together to unlock new rewards in Garden Warfare 2. So that's a really cool answer. I had no idea that's where the thermometer came from, so thank you, Justin, for that insight. Next question, I'm going to try to get through these because this is, one in the game right now. I'm really worried. We got 3 minutes to defend this. They've steamrolled us this whole time. Let's see what we can do. Next question, though. I said, Garden Warfare is one of the most creative shooters I've played. There are a lot of studies on how constraints help creativity thrive. How did the constraint of being in the Plants vs. Zombies universe help the development of Garden Warfare 1 and 2? He says, we've never really seen the Plants vs. Zombies IP as a constraint. In fact, the quite opposite. I don't think any dev team member here has worked on a more fun, wacky game where anything is possible. In fact, some of the larger stumbling blocks for us falls onto subjects like tofu. Is it a plant, zombie, or hybrid? The largest constraints we have are around making sure the game is fun, easy to pick up and play, yet has a depth PvZ fans have come to appreciate about our game. So probably one of the most, so what he's alluding to is like one of the largest constraints is how to make it worthy of being a PvZ title, is what he says. And that tofu, is that a hint for where the next game is going? I gotta know, is tofu a plant zombie hybrid? Who knows? He could be dropping clues. We don't even know. He dropped a clue like a year ago and then brought Walnut Hills in, so we don't even know. In the game right now, there we go. They shut down the battery, unfortunately, and so now we have to defend. Next question, though. Sean and Justin, I guess both answer this one. This is about Soil Survivor. I said, when Soil Survivor was first announced, my first thought was that it was inspired by the latest Battle Royale trend. But when I actually played it, I realized it was a reworking of Cats vs. Dinos, which actually predates PUBG and Fortnite. With that said, how do you think the recent popularity of Battle Royale games will affect future PvZ content? And they answer, what's clear is anytime you have a shrinking bubble, people immediately associate the mode with Battle Royale. We set out originally for this mode to be more associated with round-based elimination, similar to Counter-Strike and Rainbow Six. We loved that it was completely fresh to Garden Warfare, but was a bit more competitive and made great use of our characters. Justin and I both spend our lunch breaks playing Battle Royale games. We played Fortnite, Blackout, and recently Apex. We love the genre. If there's any opportunity for Battle Royale in the PvZ universe, it would be one that pokes fun and goes over the top on mechanics that are well established while also striving to innovate, the same approach we've had for the franchise as a whole. So, man, there's a lot to unpack in that comment right there. You know, that's a big if. That's a big if. But if the next game has, whether it's a Garden Warfare or just another PvZ shooter, who knows what the next game is, but if it has a Battle Royale mode, that's going to be what they do. They're going to make it over the top. They're going to embellish it. It's going to be awesome if they do. Who knows if they will or not, but that's a really cool answer. Thank you both for answering that one. In the game right now, I'm really happy that they didn't get, they only got, oh, they just shut down the battery again, but I'm really happy they didn't get it halfway because that means they can't possibly get it all the way this time. Next question. We are blazing through these. This one was, all right, here we go. Now this one is interesting. This was actually answered by Jay, who I was in correspondence with, who I submitted these questions to. His name is Jay Ingram, and he's with EA, and he's the community engagement coordinator. And so this one, I just now, as I'm reading these, realized that he answered this one. So I said it's been announced that the PvZ team has been working on a new Plants vs. Zombies title for consoles and PC. Everyone is thrilled. When can we expect to hear more? And he says you can expect to hear more around the EA Play E3 season, though maybe a bit earlier. Do you know of any special anniversaries coming up that we could share news on? And that, I'm struggling. Special anniversaries to come up. I'm Googling right now. Are there any special anniversaries? So if we look at the release dates for Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare and Garden Warfare 2, well, the Garden Warfare 2 anniversary was February 23rd, you know, so that one's already passed. But what about the first game? That was February 25th, so that's also already passed. So I'm trying to think of just general anniversaries. So if you guys in the comments, you know, I haven't done a ton of research on this. By the way, we won. We won. That's a really thrilling moment. We actually won that round. It was a struggle the whole way through, but we actually won that round, and they weren't able. Thankfully, we were able to stop them the first go after they broke the battery the first time. They weren't able to get him halfway down, so that meant they had to break the battery 3 times total. They weren't able to. Thus, we won. It was a very, very tough competition, but check this out. I believe I placed first in this, if I'm right, but we won at the very last second. Got a lot of coins, and then let's see what's gonna happen here. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? There we go. I got a lot of revives. I got some revives just tinkering around before, but there we go. There we go. Awesome. And check it out. First place on the team. Awesome. Very cool. Well, we got a few more questions to get through, so bear with me. All right, guys, I'm going to finish up my revives here playing as Sunflower, and looking back at that previous answer, are there any special anniversaries? Well, I looked it up. The first Plants vs. Zombies, the tower defense game, was released May 5th, 2009. So what do you think? For the 10th anniversary, do you think May 5th, 2019, there might be some news? Maybe. I can't confirm or deny because I don't know myself, but I mean, that was a major clue that Jay dropped, so hopefully. Next question. The wording in the announcement has many suspecting it's not a Garden Warfare title. Can you confirm or deny at this time? And like I said, the reference for that, when they announced it, they said it's the next PvZ game, but they never said it's Garden Warfare. And so he says nothing we can say about the title just yet, but the game will be both very familiar and very new. Stay tuned for the details. So what are your predictions for that answer? Because I don't even know how to wrap my head around it, unless they kind of go with like maybe a forever type game. Like instead of just doing the third, they make like a forever game that's continually updated, kind of like Fortnite and Apex. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it, but I mean, that would be my best guess, is that maybe they don't want to do a number 3, and maybe they want to do something that has a little more longevity, that will constantly be updated and constantly changing. But again, that's just my prediction. That is based on no info that I have. So that's just my prediction. Next question. This is where the interview gets a little, it's not really an interview, it's just a Q&A. But this is where my questions start getting a little more playful, because I've already got as much, I've already asked as many things as I can really think of in terms of content. And I don't want to focus too much on the future, because I know that there's only going to be so much they can answer. But this is a kind of a playful question I asked for Justin. When will Justin Weeb return to his racing roots and give us the PvZ kart racer we all deserve? For those of you who don't know, Justin Weeb has worked on several Need for Speed games in the past, and so here's his answer. I'm trying to play what that would be like in my head, and I think it could be a really great game. While I can never comment on what future content we may build, I do hear the vocal audience about how great a PvZ kart racer game might be. I think so too. I mean, right now, the best kart racer we have, in my opinion, is Mario Kart, of course. Probably started the whole kart racer thing, if my memory is correct. But I would love to see a PvZ variant of that, where maybe. But how would they do a race? Only plants versus zombies. How would they do a race? That would be kind of a tough one, I think, because so far, they pretty much made it where plants always go up against zombies and zombies go up against plants. If you have plants racing plants, how does that make sense in the franchise? I don't know. That's kind of what I was hinting at with constraints earlier. A couple more questions here. The PvZ franchise has embraced the free-to-play model on mobile. That's right. PvZ 2 is completely free, by the way. I don't believe the original PvZ was free. But then I said many multiplayer games, including Apex, which I bring up because it's also on Origin, have embraced it on PC and console. From the perspective of someone who's been in the industry for so long, how surprising is this trend? How much is monetization considered when developing a game? Has a monetization model been decided for the next PvZ title? So maybe I'm prying too much. I don't necessarily expect answers to all of these, but this is their longest answer yet. Here we go. Both Sean and Justin answered this. Not all that surprising, to be honest. When your game has zero barrier for entry, you get more players, and players are the lifeblood of any game. The issue with this model is that it costs money to develop and support, and when you don't receive revenue from initial purchase, you need to make decisions that generate revenue on the back end. We don't see this trend going away, but we don't see premium launch products going away either. MTX is an important part of the business, which I think means monetization. You see this in some of the decisions we've made with the content updates on Garden Warfare 2 over the last 8 months. Developing games isn't free, and in order to continue developing products, we need to generate revenue. Most players also may not realize that running a ton of servers is in a bunch of regions costs money each day. I realize that. What's important to us is that we strike the balance of fair offers while also appeasing the core non-spenders. The recent Twilight Chamber grind versus purchase option are a great example of this. MTX design for games in development is always an ongoing process. We see trends and player behaviors change month to month. Everything moves so fast. We need to continue adapting and be flexible with designs to stay on market trends and to meet expectations of users. We do frequently consider and discuss MTX design for future products, but believe me when I say we always consider the impact to all players with the decisions we make. Garden Warfare has historically been very fair in the grind versus pay balance, and we have no plans to change this. My next question then focuses on other recent trends, because we were talking about monetization, which I have seen as a trend to move more towards free-to-play. I've seen crossplay also be a trend, and I wanted to touch on that. Again, wasn't expecting much of an answer, but let's see. Crossplay is a very popular feature of new and upcoming games, and it garners a lot of media attention. Aside from corporate politics, What are the challenges of developing games that can be played across multiple platforms? Has crossplay been decided for the next PvZ title? And so Sean answers this one. While I can't speak to future products, I can tell you that crossplay is a healthy evolution for our industry. It does create many challenges, however. Many players would argue that the twitchy nature of mouse and keyboard will always have an advantage over a controller. We also need to deal with security issues, as the PC platform is a lot more susceptible to exploits and hacks. Don't I know that? Because when I play on the PC, sometimes, not all the time, but occasionally, I see players go up against me. It's been in some of my videos. It's been when I live stream. But anyway, he continues. It's a giant opportunity, but also a giant can of worms. I think the industry and platforms are still in their infancy as it relates to crossplay and cross progression. We'll be watching closely to see how this progresses. So, to me, when he talks about, again, this is just me predicting based off his answer. I can neither confirm or deny. I don't have the info. But the way that he describes it as in their infancy, I kind of see that as kind of a sign that maybe they're not willing to embrace it yet because it's so new. And so maybe, I don't know. I don't think even Apex has crossplay yet, does it? I hear it's maybe in the works or rumored, but I don't know. All right, so there we go. Right now we're playing this. I don't know if you noticed, but Odd Josh Live has joined. He is my friend. You might recognize him. He used to be known as Mario the Smash Bro, but he's kind of gone through a rebranding. He's now Odd Josh. You can check him out on Twitch. I follow him on Twitch, and his name here now, you'll see him, Mario the Smash Bro. He's been on several of my Fortnite videos. He's been on several of my PvZ videos. He's also been, we did a Mario party game, Super Mario Party game together. And so now his name is going by Odd. His name was always Josh, but now he's going by Odd Josh. And his particular in-game name here is Odd Josh Live. So that answers that question. Final question. I think this is a dozen and even dozen questions that have been answered. I just kind of start off. This is me again. We're kind of in the fun range of the questions for me. Thank you so much for your time. On a scale of 1 mushroom to 10 mushrooms, how happy will fans of the mushroom class be after playing the next PvZ game? As you know, I have lobbied on Twitter, on YouTube, and several of my videos that please have a mushroom class in the Garden Warfare games, because mushrooms, are instrumental in PvZ 1 and PvZ 2. They're instrumental in PvZ Heroes. They're instrumental here. That you can put them down as the plants that you put in the pots. The little mushrooms, various different mushrooms. But we haven't seen a mushroom class. I think that's what needs to happen next. I really believe it. If they add any other plant class, it's got to be a mushroom class. I know that technically mushrooms aren't plants, but they are in the PvZ universe. So how happy, on a scale of 1 to 10 mushrooms, how happy will someone like me be on the next PvZ game? Justin Weeb answers this. When exploring the mushroom scale, one must also look within their inner mushroom self and ask the question, are we all really mushrooms in one way or another? Or are mushrooms far more than we perceive them to be? The topic of mushrooms is a serious one, and there are mushroom fans and mushroom haters. Some feel mushrooms are simply too powerful a force to be unleashed and could be uncontrollable, while others feel mushrooms should be simply accepted in our society. So at the end of the day, it's a very sensitive subject, and a question not easily answered. Ooh, going all vague on me, going all vague. I think if there is another PvZ shooter game, again, like I said, just that was the final question. Just my recap now. Going through all of these questions, I know that they're being vague. My prediction, and I've said it before, is that the next title will be a shooter because the same team's working on it. It makes sense that it's a shooter. But I don't think it's going to be a Garden Warfare 3. I think it might be called something. If it were Garden Warfare 3, I think they would just announce that it was called the Garden Warfare 3. I could be surprised. They could very well announce Garden Warfare 3. I would not be surprised. I think it's going to be maybe a Garden Warfare title, but not Garden Warfare 3. But it's going to be a PvZ-based shooter, I think. And then I think it's going to have some Battle Royale concepts, because they clearly talked about what their plans would be if there was a Battle Royale feature in a game. And I think that it's not going to be crossplay. And who knows? I didn't get a good feel if it's going to be free to play or not, because they kind of talked about the mixed strategy. The premium launches are still here, free to play here, and new players are the lifeblood. They spend a considerable amount of time thinking about monetization. I'm going to look up what MTX exactly stands for. MTX. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Maybe microtransactions. Maybe it means, I'm looking at Wikipedia, maybe MTX means microtransactions. So I wouldn't be surprised if it has the same type of payment model as Garden Warfare 2 has, where it costs an upfront cost, but there's also a lot of microtransactions and a lot of free content mixed in. But again, I don't know. I didn't get any firm answers about the third game, or I wouldn't even call it a third game, the next PvZ game. But I sure had fun asking these questions, and I'm really pleased with the answers. I wasn't expecting them to give me any sort of firm answers on the next game. But man, the hint, the biggest takeaway, I think, is that we're going to hear something May 9th. I don't know. It's the 10th anniversary of Plants vs. Zombies. Will we hear something on May 9th? Jay hinted at it with that anniversary date, and I looked it up, and sure enough. Anyway, we didn't win this round. I can tell you that right now. We didn't win this round. We're about to go back to the backyard. I'm going to grab my treasures because we completed the community challenge. I have now over 15 revives. But man, that last round was real good. We won that one, right? I was really pleased with the last round. I didn't do very well in this round because I'm not great with some of the sunflowers. I was first place as scientist the previous round, so that was good. Anyway, thank you so much, Jay, Sean, and of course, Justin, for answering these questions. And man, I cannot wait to see what the next PvZ game is. I'll be here May 9th. Again, all this stuff, this is still up in the air. I don't have any firm answers, but we got some great insight in the development process. Soil survivors. We got some great insight on why Walnut Hills was brought in. I didn't even know. I didn't even remember that it was a tweet a year ago. And then here, we can see the thermometer right here that Justin found inspiration from in the grocery store. Very cool. So, guys, we need to start a GoFundMe to send Justin to the grocery store every day. So that I'm picking up the rewards here. Of course, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that I asked a lot of good questions that got you guys some valuable info. I'm trying to get Odd Josh over here to grab some treasures, some of the gems and coins that pop out. If you guys have, maybe I'll have another one of these videos sometime in the future. If you guys have any questions that maybe you would like asked, be sure to post them in the comments below, and maybe I can submit them, and maybe they'll get answered. Maybe not. But thank you so much for this opportunity. PopCap EA, Jay, Sean, Justin, thank you so much. Be sure to come back next time for more Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, and I'll see you then. Goodbye, and thank you for watching. I'm Zack Scott. Subscribe if you have not. If you like this video and want to help the channel grow, all you gotta do is click the like button below. Thank you so much for watching. You can now join on YouTube and become an official member of ZackScottGames, and if you want cool shirts like this, visit ZackScott.shop. Come back next time for more.